Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta is one of the best private universities in Indonesia. As an excellent and Islamic university, Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta offers a 3-year degree undergraduate, graduate, and professional programs, which prepares the graduates for being able to meet national and international labor market demand through one of the provided faculties, Faculty of Economics. The world's rapid economic growth insists educational institutions to foster and make changes to embody a better educational system and to confront global challenges in economic and business realms.
Faculty of Economics and Business, University of Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta is an excellent faculty to produce globally competitive economists, entrepreneur, manager, and accountant who are creative, innovative, and professional based on Islamic values.
Faculty of Economics and Business of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta encompassed undergraduate programs, namely Department of Management, Department of Accounting, Department of Economics, International Management and Business, International Program of Accounting, and International Program for Islamic Economics and Finance, as well as graduate program, which is Master of Management. The teaching system at Faculty of Economics and Business of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta is supported by capable teaching staff of economic and business fields. The teaching staff comprise expert academicians and practitioners. Students of the Faculty of Economics and Business of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta may communicate with the teaching staff both inside and outside classroom. Faculty of Economics and Business of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta provides facilities to boost the learning process at each department. Facilities of Faculty of Economics and Business of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta embrace the following. Students and teaching staff of Faculty of Economics and Business of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta obtain a number of national and international achievements, namely the winner of Indonesia Young Sociopreneur at Universitas Gadjah Mada in 2016, the best paper of Sharia Economics Day at Universitas Indonesia in 2016, the winner of Sharia Economics Business Competition at Institut Pertanian Bogor in 2013, the winner of UNES Capital Market Competition in 2016, 2 gold medals of the 37 PIMNAS at Universitas Diponegoro, Semarang in 2014, 2 awards for the best research at Otoritas Jasa Keuangan in 2016, the best paper of INSHIMA in Vietnam in 2016, Mount Elbrus Expedition in 2014, and other achievements. Not only does Faculty of Economics and Business of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta focus on the learning and teaching, but it also attempts to cooperate with various educational institutions, private institutions, government, and industries in Indonesia and overseas. Therefore, Faculty of Economics and Business of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta engage the students in contributing to community to embody one of the three principles of higher education: community services.
Paradigma pendidikan kami adalah memberi peluang bagi yang ingin berusaha untuk maju dan meraih kemandirian dengan penguasaan ilmu dan teknologi secara kreatif, inovatif, dinamis, dan
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to the ITYIELDS event today. Together with the Economic Study Program at the Muhammadiyah University of Yogyakarta. This event will be moderated by me, Desi Rahmawati. I'm lecturer in the Department of Economics at the Faculty of Economics and Business. Okay, our speaker today is Mr. Agung Iswadi. I will read his CV first. Wait. Okay. Mr. Agung Iswadi, his main area of interest is on materials engineering, biofueling, and corrosion. Also marine renewable energy. That's nice. Sustainable development. Present position, he is PhD student at the International Center for Island Technology on Harriet Webb University, 2019 until now. His education background, Master of Science, Mechanical and Materials Engineering Department, Faculty of Engineering and Built Environment, National University of Malaysia, 2012. Bachelor Program, Materials Physics Department on Institut Teknologi 10 November, Surabaya. And this is his career history. He is associate in Equaterra Ltd. 2020 until now, and many position before his background. Also, he have a funded research progress on Global Challenge Research Fund on 2017 until 2019. Okay. Next, I will read the rules of this event. The first is the delivery of materials by speakers is approximately 1 hour 45 minutes, And the second question and answer session for 15 minutes. And then, okay, without further ado, let's welcome our speaker today, Dr. Agung Iswadi. Dr. Agung Iswadi, are you ready now?
Yes, Dr. Desi.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Can you hear my voice now?
Okay. Yes, the time is yours, Dr. Iswadi.
Okay, thank you. Let me share my screen first. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes, already exists.
Yeah, wait, let me slide show. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, good afternoon everyone in Indonesia. Good morning from the UK. It is good to see you today. Thanks to Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta for inviting me in this great event. Let me introduce myself again. My name is Agung Iswadi. I'm a second year PhD student at the International Center for Island Technology here at Watt University, Orkney, UK. And my background is materials engineering, and currently I'm studying about biofouling and corrosion for marine renewable energy infrastructures, comparing Indonesia's tropical waters and Orkney's temperate waters. I do hope that my presentation today will give an insight for everyone attending this course. So before we continue to my presentation, I just want to state that the fact that I'm speaking to you today does not mean that I'm already an expert in all aspects of renewable energy. Maybe I knew some of the information first before you, and today I just would like to share a little of what I already know with you. So today I will discuss a few points starting from the global context of sustainable development goals and renewable energy. Then we will narrow it down to the national context in Indonesia, including 3 case studies based on the previous projects as an example of how to connect renewable energy resources with sustainable development in the region locally. I will also invite you to look at the unique case of Orkney Islands here as a mini UK in developing renewable energy for local benefits. Last but not least, I want to share a little bit with you about my PhD project here at Renewable University. So without further ado, let's get started. I do believe that everyone in this room is very familiar with this term. The Sustainable Development Goals is called an action plan for people, planet, and prosperity. The 17 development goals demonstrate the scale and ambition of the universal agenda, including to end poverty in all its forms everywhere, to end hunger and achieve food security, to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being, to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education, to ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy, to promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, and to take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts. Energy lies at the heart of both the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the Paris Agreement on Climate Change. The objective of SDG 7 is to ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy by 2030 will open a new world of opportunities for billions of people through new economic opportunities and jobs, empowered women, children, and youth, and more sustainable, equitable, and inclusive communities, and also greater protection from and resilience to climate change. The urgent action to achieve SDG 7 is developed based on the factual data globally, such as the access to electricity, access to clean cooking solutions, and the slight increase of global renewable energy consumption due to lack of progress in use of renewables for transport and heating or cooling. So speaking about renewable energy, there is a range of resources available globally with a variety of technology types and capacities. First is land-based resources. It is also known as green energy, which is energy normally found on land, such as wind, solar, geothermal, and biomass. Based on the technological capacities, each resource can be classified into low, micro, mini, midi, macro, and mega energy regimes. In addition to that, we also have enormous resources coming from blue energy, which is energy types derived from currents, waves, offshore wind, hydro, floating solar, and aquathermal. These types of energy can usually be found in marine or freshwater spaces. Likewise, these types of resources can be classified into low, micro, mini, midi, macro, and mega energy regimes. Now, we are moving to the national context of Indonesia as a developing country with its unique geographical feature of archipelago country consists of more than 17,000 islands. Based on the Paris Agreement, the Indonesian government has committed through nationally determined contribution to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by up to 29% with its own efforts, or 41% with international support by 2030. The energy sector is targeted to reduce greenhouse gas emission by 314 to 398 million tons of CO2 in 2030 by developing renewable energy projects, implementing energy efficiency, as well as applying clean energy technologies. Besides that, currently the Indonesian government is also developing grand strategy for national energy. And in this grand strategy, Indonesia is trying to reach a net zero emission target by 2060 or sooner with international assistance. If we want to understand the national energy landscape, we should look at the energy profile first. Here are the total energy consumption by sector and the total energy supply by source from 1990 to 2018. As we can see, our total energy consumption from the industry and transport sectors increased gradually since 30 years ago. While on the other hand, the resources that covered those demands were mainly coming from fossil fuel-based energy, which is oil, coal, and natural gas. So from here, we can see that our dependence on non-renewable energy sources is high, and the action to substitute non-renewable energy with renewable resources is not an easy task and might take decades for full substitution. Now, let's take a focus on renewable energy resources. Since 2014, the Indonesian government has put a target of renewable energy share in the national energy mix of 23% in 2025 and 31% in 2050. And based on the data compiled from Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, renewable energy share reached only around 8 to 9% in 2015-2018 and increased up to 11% in 2020 with solar energy as the most abundant renewable energy resource of 207 gigawatt. Marine energy, on the other hand, with around 17.9 gigawatt, has zero installed capacity up to now, which is quite ironic considering as an archipelago country, we have abundant energy resources from the ocean. However, the government is trying to accelerate this industry sector as part of the national energy transition agenda. After we understand the energy situation in the national context, let's move to the sustainable development context in relevance to renewable energy. Here, I will divide this discussion into three sections. First, understanding socioeconomic aspects. Second, identifying existing energy access and supporting infrastructures. And last is linking renewable energy development to potential economic activities. First is socioeconomic aspects. So based on the statistics of Indonesia, the total population in Indonesia reached 270 million in 2020 with annual population growth rate of 1.25%. From the 5 main islands in Indonesia, Java Island is the most populated region with a population density of more than 1,000 per square kilometer, followed by Sumatra, Sulawesi, Kalimantan, and Papua. In addition to that, Jakarta as a capital city ranked first as the region with the highest GDP of 2,500 trillion rupiah in 2018, and North Maluku ranked the lowest with a GDP of 26.5 trillion rupiah. The economic activities are still mainly concentrated in Java Island based on the number of operating industry sectors. From the energy access, we should probe as our national energy electrification ratio reached almost 100%, and leaving only a few regions with electrification ratios below 90%. However, it is worth noting that this electricity demand is still supplied mainly by non-renewable energy sources, as discussed in the previous slide on the energy profile. In addition to the electrification ratio, our grid connection is mainly located in Java, Bali, and Sumatra Islands. There is a technical challenge to connect energy sources to the infrastructure in the eastern regions, as the grid connection is not available. Hence, the possible solution is to provide an off-grid connection for energy distribution and transmission, or develop microgrid systems to supply energy demand for smaller groups of communities. As I mentioned before, that it might take decades for a full transition from non-renewables to renewable source. One issue that might influence is the difficulty to look for green infrastructure investment that could support renewable energy development from the initial stage of the process. Renewable energy sources will not be able to satisfy the entire country's energy needs as long as there is a disconnection between the locations of renewable energy generation and energy consumption due to a lack of grid connection infrastructures. However, as a part of the energy transition plan, we could identify the renewable energy potential located nearby the existing infrastructures built for fossil fuel energy power plants and utilize those existing infrastructures to promote renewable energy development, as well as to phase out the use of non-renewable energy gradually. For Indonesia case, we have plenty of coal power plant infrastructures that could be used to promote the development of various renewable energy sources available in the country, as well as to reduce gradually the use of non-renewable energy power plant. Now we come to the part on how to connect renewables to economic activities. In the context of Indonesia, I would like to ask a few questions. The first one is, has economic growth in Indonesia been evenly distributed, or is it still concentrated in several main regions? If not, how to even out economic growth across the country? I believe you can answer clearly in the first two questions as an economist, and you will understand this issue better. The more dramatic one might come from the last questions. Does the process of economic growth require the support of energy supply, or is the economic growth needed first to promote the growth of the energy sector? Actually, this is like a chicken egg questions, and the answer will depend on the situation where it will take place. Basically, there are 4 different types of causality relationships between energy consumption and economic growth. The first one is no causality or neutrality hypothesis, where energy has little or no impact on GDP and vice versa. The second one is one-way causality from GDP to energy consumption. This is conservation hypothesis, where an increase in the real GDP will cause an increase in energy consumption. The third one is one-way causality from energy consumption to GDP, or we call it growth hypothesis. This hypothesis put energy as a limiting factor for economic growth, and energy supply disruptions will have an impact on GDP. In short, growth hypothesis means an increase in energy consumption will cause a growth in real GDP. And the last one is two-way causality between GDP and energy consumption, or we call it feedback hypothesis, where energy consumption and economic growth are determined by and influence each other. If the feedback hypothesis is true, energy consumption and real GDP are interrelated and possibly complementary. From this publication, Perez Franco et al. In his publication mentioned that solar thermal energy boosts the growth of the Spanish and Portuguese economies, but with different causality types. In the case of Spain, solar thermal energy and economic growth are interrelated and influence each other. On the other hand, in the case of Portugal, solar thermal energy will cause economic growth, but not vice versa. In addition to that, wind power is also identified to give positive impacts on the economy in the case of Spain only. So here we can conclude that different locations might have different causality in terms of renewable energy source use. I think we may agree that the economic growth has not been distributed evenly in Indonesia, especially for the eastern part of Indonesia. And promoting renewable energy industry could be used as one of the possible solutions. And considering that we have abundant renewable energy sources from Aceh in the west to Papua in the east, developing renewable energy will be beneficial in supporting local economic productivities such as tourism, fisheries, or other industry sectors. The renewable energy industry sector itself will induce jobs creation that can attract local workers, and in the long term impact will support the increase of GDP in the region. Now we are bringing our discussion into the local context from 3 different case studies. These projects were developed mainly by academic and industry collaboration, but also involving local government and local communities in the process of preparation and delivery. The first project was located in Aceh. This project was funded by British Council Newton Fund Institutional Links in 2015 for renewable energy resources assessment, local stakeholders engagement, and local needs identification. At that time, we captured the main aspiration from local stakeholders to bring renewable energy for supporting the aquaculture industry, as well as for food storage and processing, ice production and cooling. The project then received further funding from Newton Fund Institution Links in 2016 to develop a small-scale renewable energy technology. The main effort was how to build the technology using available resources locally that can be owned, operated, and maintained by the local community themselves. The development was a success, but there was an earthquake in 2016 in Aceh that destroyed the infrastructure. But the technology prototype then was further developed by Shah Kuala University. The second case study is Selayar Island, located in South Sulawesi province. This project was funded by Global Challenge Research Fund Blue Communities. The main activity is for assessment of renewable energy resources, local needs identification, as well as stakeholders engagement. Resources assessment and fieldwork observation were carried out in 2019 from Buntumateni village in the northern part of Selayar to Polasi Island in the southern part. As a home for Takabonerate Biosphere Reserve, Selayar has a local potential market for fisheries and tourism industries, and clean energy provision will help build the industry stronger. For example, here in the fisheries sector, the number of fish caught in Selayar reached around 18,000 tons per year. In comparison, the ice production for fish preservation from the two operating factories is estimated at around 3,650 tons a year, which will bring the ratio of ice to fish becomes 1:5. It means that every day about 5 tons of fresh fish in Selayar can only be preserved with 1 ton of ice. Thus, the development of renewable energy sector in Selayar will help promote the use of clean energy, provide additional energy access to the existing energy supply, and also help increase the local economic productivities. Based on the assessment, it was found that the solar energy potential is spread almost evenly throughout the Selayar Islands compared to other renewable energy resources. And there are two key energy policy instruments in Indonesia that can link these local resources to promising development in the future. The first one is the National Energy Plan, targeting the installed capacity of renewable energy power plants to reach, the first one is the National Energy Plan, targeting the installed capacity of renewable energy power plants to reach 24,000 megawatts by 2025. Interestingly, solar energy will be put as a backbone to support this plan. And secondly, it is also stipulated in the general plan for electricity supply that solar PV will be massively implemented for supporting electricity supply infrastructure throughout the nation. During our field work, we also found a damaged and non-functioning small-scale wind power plant in the north of Selayar and a damaged Pico hydro power plant in the east of Selayar. Interestingly, we found information that this small-scale wind turbine was never operated since the beginning due to land issues with the local community. And then it was abandoned until one of these turbines broken and fall to the ground. This is a very true sad story that should not be repeated again in the future. Based on this observation, it strengthens our perspective that engaging and involving local communities since the early stage of the development process is essential. The last case study is West Papua. Based on our investigation, the basic needs to fulfill each village aspiration are grouped into water and energy. Water is needed for drinking, washing, and cleaning, while energy is needed for lighting, drying, cooling, refrigeration, and also ice making. Apart from complicated technical aspects, it is also strongly encouraged to consider thoroughly non-technical aspects in renewable energy project planning in the future, as these aspects hold a more important role in maintaining the sustainability of the project. And sometimes we engineers don't take into account non-technical aspects deeply. These non-technical aspects include existing local regulation in relation to national energy policy, social aspirations from the community, potential financial support coming from government or industry, and the willingness to pay from the community, and managerial aspects such as how to ensure that the community is able to operate and maintain by themselves. A further note also for developing strong collaboration between academic, business, community, and government sectors to ensure the sustainability of the projects. Now, as a comparison, I will invite you to look at the energy case in Orkney Island, located in the northern part of the UK. Please enjoy this short documentary film and just treat this as a virtual visit to Orkney Island. Oh, sorry. Can you hear the sound of this movie?
Not yet.
Not yet. Oh.
Humanity is currently facing one of its greatest ever challenges.
Can you hear it now?
Yes.
But it's a crisis being played out against the backdrop of something that has much more serious consequences for our planet and for all of us. Climate change. We've all had to adapt to deal with the impact of the coronavirus pandemic, and now we're also feeling its economic effects. However, we urgently need to change the way we live and work long term if we are to have any hope of turning the tide on global warming. We already know that renewable energy holds the key to slowing the rate of climate change. Crucially, renewables also have the potential to drive the global economic recovery that's now needed, and do it sustainably. Here in Orkney, we've worked in harmony with our natural resources for centuries. We're a small community, seen as remote by some, but we punch well above our weight in the energy world. This is our renewables story.
It gets pretty breezy in Orkney, and we've used that to our advantage for decades.
We've been testing large-scale wind turbine prototypes here since the 1950s, and have pioneered the concept of community turbine ownership too. Now, over 100% of Orkney's electricity demand is met from renewable generation, with the majority of that coming from wind. In addition, you'll find solar panels on lots of our homes and businesses, and a range of innovative heating systems in our public buildings.
We're also learning to harvest energy from one of our greatest natural resources, our oceans.
Since 2003, Orkney has been home to the European Marine Energy Centre, the world's only fully accredited open sea testing facility for wave and tidal generators. Here, wave and tidal developers can connect their devices straight into the national grid, testing in the most demanding of sea conditions. Those developers are supported by a local supply chain that possesses unrivaled experience across a wide range of specialities. And our harbours infrastructure is world-class too. Orkney also continues to work on a variety of projects to help facilitate the development of marine renewables, spanning environmental and wildlife studies, knowledge sharing projects, and infrastructure development. Orkney's an innovative community, and we've always sought to find practical solutions to the challenges that come hand in hand with island life. Naturally, we've applied that mindset to the field of renewables. To deal with the issue of local grid constraints, we developed a unique project that trialled taking excess energy from a community wind turbine on the island of Adie, along with power generated by tidal devices at EMEC's Warness test site. We've been turning it into hydrogen. This was the first hydrogen to be created from tidal power in the world.
This project paved the way for a number of pioneering hydrogen initiatives which are now underway in Orkney, including powering local authority vehicles, the internal ferry fleet and planes.
We're even considering using it in the distilling process to make gin. Importantly, as the hydrogen will be generated from renewables, emitting only water and warm air, it's classed as a carbon-neutral fuel. In Orkney, we believe that our renewables activity should make a positive impact on the lives of our communities. And so we're developing an integrated energy system in the islands, linking our power, transport and heat networks. The Reflex, Responsive Flexibility initiative aims to make Orkney a smart energy island, eventually eliminating the need for fossil fuels by digitally linking renewable generation with consumer demand. Consisting of a local electricity tariff and a network of technologies, including batteries, electric vehicles, chargers and hydrogen, the integrated energy system aims to balance out intermittent local renewables generation.
Meanwhile, Orkney continues to set an example for the rest of the UK when it comes to electric vehicle ownership and use.
We've long recognised the value of EVs, which emit no harmful carbon, while efficiently getting us to where we need to be. Excitingly, the islands are also set to see trials of electric planes in the near future. Economically, all of this renewables activity is hugely important for our islands, supporting hundreds of high-quality jobs. Equally significant is our burgeoning knowledge economy. In the town of Stromness, you'll find the Orkney Research and Innovation Campus, an international centre of excellence and learning for academic institutions, businesses and organisations working within the renewables and research fields. This green revolution hasn't happened by chance though. For over 20 years, the Orkney Renewable Energy Forum, OREF, has been helping drive local renewables activity, providing a key focus and voice for all those with an interest in the sector. Those are just some of the highlights from Orkney's renewables story, with many more chapters yet to be written.
We're fiercely proud of our clean energy track record in Orkney and our status as a global centre of excellence for renewables research, innovation and development, and as a living laboratory. But we don't jealously guard our knowledge. We've achieved much, and it's all come through collaboration. Now, as the world faces its greatest threat, we believe the Orkney Way could hold the key to building a more sustainable future for humanity, while driving a green economic boom in the process.
Yeah, I hope this short movie gave you an insight about renewable energy case in Orkney Island and how the academic, business community and government can collaborate strongly to support sustainable energy for sustainable development. As Orkney has similar geographical feature, but with smaller scale, lessons learned could be taken for Indonesia case. And then let me give you an overview of my PhD project and what I'm doing here at Heriot University. As I mentioned before, that despite of the high energy resources from the ocean, Indonesia hasn't started marine renewable energy industry, and there is no installed capacity generated from this type of energy in Indonesia. It gave me motivation to study further in this type of energy, and hopefully what I'm doing could give a contribution to the marine renewable energy industry in Indonesia. So Indonesia has practical potential around 19 gigawatt coming from wave and tidal energy. And based on the literature review, we have 23 promising locations for device deployment and installation scattered from Aceh to West Papua. Here are the examples of local technologies that have been developed for tidal current energy and wave energy. The technologies were developed by research groups at ITYIELds and BPPT. The tidal energy device uses vertical axis turbine and has been tested at Larantuka Strait and Madura Strait. The second technology uses pendulum oscillation system to convert wave energy into electricity. Both technologies are still in R&D phase, and the effort being put so far is to improve the energy efficiency only. If we compare marine renewable energy industry between Indonesia and UK, we will find a wide gap in the development stage. UK started R&D program of renewable energy in the 1970s. Around 10 years later, some industrial groups took an interest in developing renewable energy technologies, including tidal barrage and small tidal current devices. And the development continued until it reached the first example of commercialization of proven technologies. On the other hand, Indonesia started R&D program of tidal current technology around 2008. The technology prototype was further developed into its fifth generation in 2016. But this technology was only tested to improve power harvesting performance only, without putting detailed technical aspects from material selection and marine environment. Long story short, Indonesia is 20 years behind the UK in developing marine renewable energy industry. Apart from energy efficiency, performance of materials in facing marine environment holds important role to support marine renewable energy system. and biofouling is one of the challenges for marine renewable energy industry. Biofouling is an accumulation of micro and macroorganisms on the marine infrastructures that can lead to several industrial problems, such as drag resistance or corrosion. Biofouling was found having impact on the marine current turbine performance in the early 2000s in the UK. And since then, it becomes an important issue in marine renewable energy as the industry has entered commercial stage. This picture is an example of biofouling accumulation on wave rider buoy, ADCP, and tidal mooring. Based on the available literature review, here are key topics for biofouling studies carried out in Indonesia, ranging from biological invasion to the biofouling impact to shipwreck. Interestingly, none of these key topics mention marine renewable energy as an impacted infrastructure. On the other hand, based on the bibliographic network map capturing research topics on marine renewable energy in Indonesia, we can see that a lot of studies have been done in the last 2 decades addressing the assessment of marine energy resources and energy extractions, but the durability of materials related to biofouling and corrosion has not been addressed specifically in this scope. Thus, the knowledge gaps that I discover are first, even though resource assessment and energy efficiency are 2 main focuses in marine renewable energy industry in Indonesia, an effort hasn't been put to address materials robustness in facing marine environment challenges such as biofouling and corrosion. On the other hand, biofouling studies in Indonesia hasn't seen marine renewable energy as an impacted structure compared to vessel industries. Considering the development stage of marine renewable energy in Indonesia is still at early phase, it is timely to advance comprehensive research, including biofouling and corrosion, to positively support the technological performance in Indonesian waters. So from those knowledge gaps, I came up with 5 research questions. What are key possible fouling communities and corrosion types specific to marine renewable energy infrastructures? What are influencing factors that facilitate biofouling settlement and trigger corrosion? What mitigation measure exists? And what are possible mitigation to protect infrastructure from biofouling? And the 4th and 5th questions are intended to compare characteristics between Indonesia and Orkney's waters and to find lessons learned from the UK industry experience that can be adapted in Indonesia's marine environment. There are lessons learned from the study on biofouling database in European temperate waters. So 3 results that I capture in their article are key fouling organism in European waters, the influencing factors and impacts of fouling organisms on marine renewable energy device. There are 5 key fouling organisms found: bryozoan, mussels, barnacles, and calcareous tube worms. These 5 fouling organisms were affected by temperature, water depth that are related with light availability, distance from shore, and types of materials used. 3 big impacts of these fouling organisms are added weight, added roughness, and also, of course, corrosion. That's the end of my presentation. I'm so sorry I make a quick presentation because I have another appointment at 11 a.m. here, and hopefully we can discuss further in the remaining time. Thank you for listening, and now I hand it over to the moderator.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Agung Iswadi. Very nice, very interesting your research. Indonesia is the biggest archipelago country in the world. We know that stretching from Sabang to Merauke, Indonesia has 17,000 1499 island with a total area approximately 7.81 million kilometers. So of the total area, 3.25 million kilometer is ocean. We know that. And 2.55 million kilometer is the exclusive economic zone. Coincidentally, my dissertation on the development of renewable energy. So I'm very interested with your research, Dr. Agung Iswadi. But my research of renewable energy on the Pantai Baru, Yogyakarta. On Pantai Baru, the renewable energy developed by solar and wind energy because they're located in the coastal area. So that production capacity from the wind and solar energy is very potential to be developed. Maybe that's I want to share for others because I'm very interested with your research. Maybe we have the same, the same interesting in the renewable energy developing. But what I noticed that almost all renewable energy development in all locations encountered the challenges, such as, for example, to how to program sustainability. And I found that there any high technology maintenance for the cost. The development of renewable energy there involves cross-sectoral collaboration, technology by the research and technology, institutional and community development by academic and NGOs. In my insight, there are several challenges in developing renewable energy in Indonesia. The first is one of the challenges faced in the potential for an excess of electricity supply for amid awakening demand due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This is the challenges. The excess of electricity supply has the potential to be even greater with you said that mega project to build a power plant with the capacity 35,000 megawatts. If that ambition is complete, coupled with the delay in energy absorption, the economic will slow down due to the pandemic. Then this is the excess will also be our challenge. What do you think, Mr. Agung Iswadi? Maybe you have insight.
Yeah, thank you for the sharing, Dr. Desi. Yeah, to be honest, I'm not quite good enough in the economic perspective of the marine renewable energy development, but as far as I know that yes, to develop renewable energy, especially for developing countries like Indonesia, it is a big challenge, not only for technical aspects from the technology infrastructures, etc., but also from non-technical aspects such as economy, financial regulations. And at the moment, the regulation from the national and also local sometimes changes, and it might influence also the development of renewable energy throughout the nation. And it takes years or maybe decades for renewable energy power plants to have what we call it like the same economic value with fossil fuel energy. So at the moment, maybe it will be very expensive for community to buy into electricity from renewable energy. But at some point, if we make it maybe for 20 years or 30 years, it can be more cheaper. And that's why the plan for developing renewable energy in Indonesia is not to substitute fully the current existing power plant from fossil fuel energy, but we phase out this energy supply from fossil fuel gradually by putting the renewable energy sources nearby the location of existing power plant from fossil fuel energy. Another action plan that we can use is by developing like a off-grid or microgrid system, because we consist of many small islands and it's scattered from west to east, and especially for eastern regions, they don't have infrastructure like grid connection like what we have in Java or Sumatra or Bali. And that's the good option for developing renewable energy for eastern part of Indonesia by developing off-grid system or microgrid systems. But again, another constraint is how to make sure that we can transfer the knowledge to the community. So if the infrastructure is established, they can operate it and maintain it by themselves. I stated this because based on our experience in Selayar, the Indonesian government developed like solar power plant, small scale solar power plant in one of small island in Selayar. And there is a constant issue, like a technical challenge, that if there is a problem with the power plant, the community need to ask people from Jakarta or other city, big city, to come to Selayar and fix the problem. And it will take like maybe a couple months from them to solve the problem. And that's why it is compulsory to put capacity building programs to involve local community, to transfer the knowledge to the community, and to ensure that the community can operate and maintain the small scale renewable energy power plant. I hope I answer your question, Dr. Desi.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Agung Iswadi, for your answer. And then, okay, there any question from Yasmin? The question is, I do have one question. May I know how marine renewable energy functioning? Nice, your question, Yasmin.
Yes, thank you, Yasmin. So we do have various types of energy coming from ocean, current, waves, also offshore wind, floating solar, and aquathermal. For the Indonesia, the existing identified resources for marine renewable energy coming from tidal current, wave energy, and also ocean thermal. And the ocean thermal, we can identify the location based on the temperature difference between sea surface with below under sea surface. So we need to find temperature difference about 20 to 22 degrees Celsius to put this technology. and it is very expensive and it is very challenging to develop this kind of power plant in Indonesia at the moment. That's why the Indonesian government concentrated their research and development on tidal current and wave energy. For wave energy itself, usually the resources will be can be derived from the flowing of the wind. So we know that wave will be we can capture the wave energy because of the wind axis in the sea. So by identifying the wave period, we can calculate the estimation of wave energy in every location that we want to select. And the last one is tidal current, is based on the what we call it, movement between Earth and Moon. So we call it like what in I'm sorry, I forgot the terminology, the terms. So as long as we have Moon in as long as Earth has Moon, we can always have tidal current in our country or in other regions in the world. So the tidal current is affected by the movement of Moon and Earth. So yeah, I hope that answer your question, Yasmin. But let me know if you need more clarification. Yes, Moon revolution. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Agung Iswadi. Yasmin, I hope the answer from Mr. Agung Iswadi was answer from your question. Thank you. Okay, thank you, doctor, for the explanation. Okay, good, nice. Okay, Mr. Agung Iswadi, I want to ask to you. How is the interest of young people in the UK for the development of renewable energy on there? Maybe there any young people in Indonesia who want to maybe for study abroad in UK. Maybe you can share with us what the study program or the department maybe can for the share with us. Maybe there any student or young people in Indonesia who want to study abroad on there for development on renewable energy.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Desi. So yeah, maybe I can speak on behalf of my campus here. So here at Heriot-Watt University, we have UK-based campus, and then Malaysia-based campus, and also Dubai-based campus. For UK-based campus, we have three different campus. One is in mainland, in Edinburgh, and then the second is in Orkney Island, where I live here. So for Orkney campus, we have 3 students from Indonesia, 2 PhD students, including me, and 1 MSc student. When I started my PhD study, I'm the only one from Indonesia, and it is quite challenging because I don't have a company here from Indonesia. But 1 year later, I found colleagues from other region in Indonesia, and yes, it is actually the participation of the the youth here for developing renewable energy is quite high. And usually here in Orkney, we have like an annual science festival. No, not annual. No, it might be monthly science festival that we collaborate or we discuss each other about our projects, including renewable energy. And next month, I will be presenting in this event, and we will discuss with other students as well from other disciplines, because if we talk about marine renewable energy or renewable energy in general, we will not talk about the technical aspect itself, but we will talk about the economic, the financial, the regulation or policy, etc. And yes, it is quite high, the participation, and I do hope that if each of the students here want to continue to pursue study, you can ask me for information if you would like to get further information on the departments on renewable energy here. And this month also we developed like a collaborative workshop with ITS Surabaya to discuss about blue energy development in Indonesia. So we will develop like 4 weeks collaboration workshop by involving students from Heritage and also students from ITS Surabaya and also students from universities in eastern part of Indonesia. So it might be quite interesting, I think.
Thank you, Dr. Agung Iswadi. There any question again from Ratna? Hi, I'm Ratna. I want to ask to Dr. Agung mention example case of natural resource project in Indonesia. I want to know about how the project carried out by the people of Java Island as island with highest level of use energy and industrial center. Very nice your question, Ratna. Thank you. We know that maybe in eastern of in Indonesia has a have a what is it sea very potential for develop the renewable energy.
Yeah, for Java Island itself, we do have various renewable energy sources as well, coming from the ocean and also from onshore land-based resources like wind, solar, and also geothermal. And as far as I know, the highest abundant resources in Indonesia is from solar energy, and it includes in Java Island. And for some aspect, we can also develop, even though the Java Island is already the energy supply is already addressed, we can also develop another renewable energy development by developing floating solar, and this hasn't been developed yet in Indonesia. And floating solar is like we develop a solar power plant, but we use it in freshwater space or marine space. And me and my colleagues identified some area in Java Island, including in Trenggalek and Tulungagung regencies. They have a potential to developing this kind of infrastructure for renewable energy power plants. So yeah, maybe the needs for energy consumption in Java Island compared to other regions in eastern part might slight difference, because for eastern part the main need for them is for electricity and support their local economic productivities. For example, in Selayar, they need more additional energy access for supporting fishery sectors or tourism sectors. But in Java Island, I think we already have electrification ratio almost 100%, 99.99%. And in Bali, we already have 100% electrification ratio. So yeah, we need to export this knowledge to other regions in Indonesia and not concentrated the renewable energy development in one region in Java Island. So hopefully in the next few years, government can concentrate the development of renewable energy projects in eastern part of Indonesia especially. I hope I answer your question, Ratna.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Agung Iswadi. Okay, I think with the development of renewable energy in coastal areas, this can, improve the condition for the fisher community in particular. They don't just really rely on salt farmers whose income, their income is very, very small, or fishermen who rely heavily on the season to go to the sea. I'm sorry. Very crowded. I have kids at home, so I'm sorry.
No problem.
Dr.
No
Agung.
problem, Doctor. It's okay.
Okay. There any question again from participants? I open the question. Thank you, Dr. Agung from Ratna. Okay, if there are nobody question from you, awas dulu sayang. There any question from others? There any question from others participants? Okay, if nobody give the question, thank you for your coming, Dr. Agung Iswadi. Nice to meet you here, Dr. Agung Iswadi. Hope your activity on UK can success in Indonesia. To meet you again in here. Okay, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our activity today. Thank you for coming to ITYIELDS, Department Economics, Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. See you again on the next opportunity. Goodbye, everybody. Dr. Agung Iswadi. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, everyone. See you.
See you. Goodbye.